Welcome to Overtime with Jared P, Johnny O, and now Jeremy Phillips. He's just a part of the show. We love it. Former pro football player, Elon grad. Just kidding.
Will
Lenore
you
Ryan.
stop?
I'm going to say that every time. No, same school. It's Tom Segura, the great Tom Segura. But yeah, we're very excited. NFL Power Five. I don't think we've ever been this deep into the season where the Power Five still radically changes. I think there's
Yep.
still a lot of different changes. It's been such a great and crazy NFL season. We're talking about some of the best NFL matchups this week as well. And some of these teams that are on the outside looking in that we're not used to seeing on the outside looking in. We'll get into all that and more.
It
But
change,
first,
it change, it changes for me and Jeremy. Yours is usually about the same. A lot of red teams in that top five.
usually,
Dying on that hill. Dying on that hill.
yeah, that's Chiefs. We'll see if I have them in my Power Five this week or not. We'll see.
I think there are millions of people out here just waiting to see what Jared has to say. I've gotten a couple calls. I got two calls yesterday. Is he really going to keep them in the Power Five? I said, hey, that's his opinion.
You got to listen. You got to listen to find out. I did run into I forget his name. Is a nice gentleman. He's like, oh, I listen to you and Johnny every week. I just saw him out at Core Life, and he listens. He's from New York, and he's just like, I listen all the time. He said, I can't
Oh,
wait to hear
nice.
it. So he's a big football fan. All right, so Jeremy, you are our title sponsor with Elite Performance Chiropractic. Let people know what you do, how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, on Elite Performance Chiropractic here in Greensboro, right beside Village Tavern on West Ridge and Battleground. Chiropractor. We're also excited to know we're offering a new service now for people with disc injuries, disc herniations, disc bulges, stuff like that. We're the only people in the triad offering IDD therapy, which is a patented form, FDA approved form of spinal decompression. And we're really excited about it. Some of our early patients that started on the program are doing great off pain meds, avoided surgery, stuff like that. So we're really excited about growing that part of the business. This business we just got started with it kind of the tail end of the summer. We wanted to roll out slow so the staff and everything could get a feel for the flow of the patients and how we're gonna do this. And we're just kind of getting through our first round of patients with this type of therapy going through their treatment programs, and we're getting phenomenal results with it. So, yeah, we're really excited about that end of the business growing.
Nice.
Excellent. All right, let's get to the NFL Power Five. And, we'll see if Johnny can stick to five teams and not have six or seven or 1A, 1B, 1C. But number five, Jeremy, you're our guest. Do you want to start off with number five?
Yeah, number five, I kind of wasn't. Last week was a telltale sign for me with this team. I mean, they were in my top probably 8 the last couple of weeks, but I was just like, it's Denver. But I was just like, is Bo Nix for real? Can he make the throws when needed? Obviously, on the last drive against your Chiefs this past weekend, he did. They have a fantastic defense, and they were able to get a win against the Chiefs and keep Patrick Mahomes at bay without Surtain. They're on a bye this week. I think he's going to be healthy going forward. So they're at 9-2 right now. They're 3.5 games above the Chiefs. And we're not even talking about the Chargers are in second place in that division. It just seems like Denver's trying to outrun the Chiefs. At least that's kind of how we portray it. But the Chargers may have something to say about that. They're in second place. But they out of the Power Five I got, they're my 5th team in the power rankings, and they have the biggest lead in their division.
Right.
And they have a somewhat of a favorable schedule going forward. I mean, on paper, their next 2 games against the Commanders and Raiders. I mean, so that puts them at 11-2.
Yep.
11 being that kind of magic number that gets you into the playoffs. So there you go. And then it's just a race to make sure they ensure the division. So
yeah, no, I think it's very strong to have them in your Power Five. What about you, Johnny?
Well, he stole my thunder. I got them creeping in. I got them as my number 5 as well. I mean, when you're sitting 9-2 in that division, a good solid win over the Chiefs. I mean, I know the Chiefs aren't a playoff team, but I mean, still a good team to beat. No, but they look good. Denver's winning a lot of their games in the fourth quarter, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is proven that you're a hell of a team, and you can win it at the end. So I got to give. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan, never have been, but he's got that team going, playing very well. Bo Nix is doing a nice job. I think the running game needs to get a little better, and like Jeremy was saying, their schedule favors them for sure, especially with a week off, and with Washington and Vegas and well then Green Bay, but then they do end the year with KC and the Chargers. So if even if they lost 3 of those games, I mean, they still would be sitting really, really pretty. So they're my number 5. I gotta keep them at number 5, and I only have one team at number 5 this week.
That's the shocker. That's the headline.
I think this week, with some of the matchups this week, I think a lot of teams separated themselves.
Yeah.
I think in previous weeks we've done this. Kind of the Seahawks, Tampa was kind of the tweeners for us. I know they were for me, and with the head up matchups over the last couple of weeks, I think some of these teams have kind of separated themselves.
What do you got, Jared?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs at number 5. They're going to be in
dropping.
there because
they're dropping off. They're dropping off like a prom dress on prom night, man.
Maybe your prom. I wasn't that lucky. No, no, I still believe in the Chiefs. I mean, I think their schedule towards the end of the season starts to get easier, and even if they kind of skate into the playoffs as that 7th team, with all their experience, I would not want to play the Chiefs. It was a little concerning. It seems like they weren't making adjustments to Denver's pass rush. And I know Denver had going to that game had, I think, 15 more sacks than any other team in the NFL, which is insane to have that big of a gap. So they do this to everybody, but it's like didn't seem like the adjustments. The Chiefs, Mahomes put up big yards, but they weren't completing drives, and it was just like it was kind of frustrating. And then it'd be 3rd and 1, and they'd go back to pass, and Mahomes would just hold the ball, and get sacked. And it's like, what are they doing? I don't know. That part's a little frustrating, but I still think they're too dangerous to leave out of the Power 5. Now, if they lose this next week, I will promise you, I won't talk about them the rest of the season because they'll be done.
This week is the telltale game for me because if they get past the Colts with a win, they got the Cowboys, the Texans, Chargers, then Titans. They can go on a run here, but they have got to beat the Colts. To me, this is a must-win for them. This is an absolute must-win for them.
The playoffs, I think, start for them next week. I mean, with the Colts.
I would agree. But then, things get better. I mean, the Colts, we're going to talk about them, but the Colts, they got to get a win with the Colts this weekend. And that would set them up to make a run to at least get a wild card bid. I still don't think, given Denver's favorable schedule going down the stretch, I still don't think they can catch them in the division.
No.
But to get, win and get in is basically their motto now, and they got to start it this week against the Colts.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Well, all right. Number 4, Johnny, who you got?
Well, speaking of the Colts, I have the Colts at number 4. Definitely they're still playing very well. And, with that upcoming game, if they get by the Chiefs, man, they're setting themselves up real nicely as well. But they're looking really good. Danny Jones is still hanging in there doing his thing. And that running game, Jonathan Taylor, man, he's doing Saquon Barkley 2024 numbers, and that's what's keeping Indianapolis in this. They they were on a bye this past week, which, that's kind of nice. They were overseas or whatever before, but then they're at KC and then Houston. Boy, if they win those next 2 games, they are for real. Even if they don't, they're still a playoff team in my mind. Definitely. Number 4.
What do you got, Jeremy?
They're a playoff team, but they're 4 right now for me as well. But looking at the schedule, they're on shaky ground. Okay. So they got the Chiefs this week. And like we said, it's a desperation game for the Chiefs. Okay. Which could bring out the best in Patrick Mahomes, as we know. But down the stretch, I mean, they got 2 games against the Jaguars. they're 2 games up in that division. Okay, so they got 2 head-to-head. So Jaguars could make their own fate there in the division. But then they got back-to-back games against the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Whew.
So the Colts, of my Power 5, the Colts have the toughest road down the stretch. And the Jaguars, if they play their cards right, I need to do more research to see who the Jaguars got down the stretch. But the Jaguars literally could make up that ground in the division by beating them head up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars are playing better too. ETN's playing better and stuff. So
look what they did. The Jags, look what they did to the Chargers this past week. Man.
Chargers, they're Jekyll and Hyde with me.
I can't
they
figure
are.
them out.
Yeah.
No. What do you got, Jared?
Yeah, at number 4, I have the terribly boring, hard to watch, put you to sleep Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense is so solid. I mean, their defense is nasty.
So solid.
Yeah, Saquon, I don't know what's going on with him. I know the offensive line's had a little bit of shakeup coming into this year, but Saquon's the same. A.J. Brown, it's like, who is he this year? I mean, they're just not the same, but they're winning, and their defense, I mean, they made the Detroit Lions look pedestrian, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell might give up his play calling, but then the Eagles have also made everyone look pretty bad in the last few weeks. Their defense is trending in the right direction, and that's a Super Bowl defense for sure. So they weren't in my Power 5 last week, and I have them above the Chiefs, but just barely.
Well, I got a couple answers for you on Saquon if I get to the Eagles on this list. But,
all right, so I'll go number 3 in the Power 5. At number 3, I actually do have the Colts, and outside of that, the end part of the season is just the running game is so fantastic, and they have a solid defense that is playoff winning football if they can do that. But the question mark will be Daniel Jones going into the playoffs. But I do like, they're going to win their division easily. They're going to have a home game for sure, and then depends how they finish out. They could have home field advantage, but you're right, Jeremy. That schedule is brutal going.
And they're the only team left in my Power 5 that has 4 division games left. Everybody else has 3. All right, and then their non-division games are the Seahawks and 49ers.
Yeah, that's rough.
That it's tough. I mean, they're winning their division now by 2 games. But it's not foretelling, given that a lot of these teams left have only 3 division games left. They have 4. They have 2 against the Jaguars and 2 against the Texans.
Yeah, so a lot can change, but I don't foresee them losing that division. But you never know. So I have them at number 3. What about you, Johnny?
Number 3, I have the New England Patriots. They just keep winning. And I got to keep them in there because they have an easy road, man, the rest of the season. They've had an easy road to this point, but they're still winning NFL football games. They got Cincinnati, the Giants. Then they play Buffalo, who they've beaten Buffalo so far, once this year. And Baltimore, there's a couple tough ones, but then they end their season with the Jets in Miami. So they're sitting very, very pretty in these. They'll be in the Power 5 the rest of the year, I think, especially with a schedule like that. So I got to stick with them. And Drake May again, man, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and just leading the way. And they're so hungry. The Patriots look like a hungry team, and I think they're going to take advantage of where they are right now and who they're playing. So they're my number 3, the Patriots.
What about you, Jeremy?
I agree. New England's my 3rd team. They're 9-2, 1.5 games ahead of the Bills, and they got a favorable schedule going forward. I mean, they got the Bengals and the Giants coming up, and finish off with the Jets, Dolphins, like Johnny O said, and they're at 9-2. Again, to me, the playoff magic number is 11. I see them getting 2 more wins to get into playoffs. If they get 4 to 5 more wins, they're your number 1 seed in the AFC more than likely. And I think they have the favorable schedule going forward to do so.
Yeah.
Which puts the Bills on the ropes for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And the Bills have been like a Jekyll and Hyde team as well this year. I mean, some games you're like, no one can beat them. The next game you're like, what are they doing? So it's like they're hard to predict. So Jeremy, who do you have at number two? We'll go back to you, going back around at number two in your Power Five. Do we lose you?
Jeremy, you got you?
Yeah, I'm there. I can't hear Jared.
Oh,
Can't hear
that's
me?
weird.
I can't hear Jared.
All
Dream
right, go
come
ahead.
true.
Give us your number two, Jeremy.
My number two is Philly at 8-2, and I mean they play in a weak division. I mean they're winning ball games. Don't get me wrong; they're doing their job. They're 4 games up on second place Dallas. I mean,
Yep.
they're going to win that division. I mean, they got the Cowboys, Bears, Chargers, Raiders, Commanders. They got 2 games left with the Commanders. I mean, so they're probably looking at, they probably have the easiest road to get number 1 seed in the NFC. They're 4 games up in the division. I don't see anybody in their division making up that ground. I don't even think they'd have an opportunity to be honest with you. So they're in the driver's seat in that division and somewhat likely in the driver's seat for the number 1 or number 2 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
Johnny, who you got?
What are we, number 2? The Rams. I have the Rams at number 2. They look fantastic. Matthew Stafford actually, didn't throw for a lot of yards, but they had a tough game, man. That was a war. 21-19. Could have lost on that 62-yard field goal, but Stafford just keeps rolling. He's got 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's just unheard of. But when you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams to throw to, he's sitting pretty back there. So we shall see. They have Tampa Bay coming up. I think that'll be a telling tale. Tampa Bay gives everybody a hell of a game. And then Carolina. But they still have Detroit left on their schedule, and then Seattle toward the end of the year. But no, the Rams are a solid number 2. And as far as balance right now, offense and defense, they're one hell of a football team.
Yeah, for me,
their secondary came up big against Seattle. I mean, that was the biggest surprise. Now, I don't know if it was nerves with Darnold or what, but they played extremely well. Their pass rush was good. They do have a very solid, kind of untalked about, given the year that Stafford's having throwing the football, but they have a solid running game too, and they're doing some good things. But what is on shaky ground with me? And I mentioned this with the Colts. The Rams. They're at 8-2. We got Seattle at 7-3, and the 49ers at 7-4, and they're getting healthy. So it's going to be a battle down the stretch for them to win the division. I'm looking at this much the same as I'm looking at this Chiefs-Colts game. This game against the Bucs is kind of as bad as I hate to say it, they're 8-2, and they're one of the top teams in the NFC. But this is kind of a must-win for the Rams, I think. They gotta win this football game, and then they got the Panthers, Cardinals twice. They got the Cardinals twice. They got the Falcons, but then right in the middle they got the Lions and the Seahawks that are going to be battling, trying to get in the playoffs. So, the Rams are at 8-2, but they play in such a tough division. I mean, the Seahawks are 7-3, 49ers 7-4, and the 49ers have gotten nothing but more healthy. I'm worried about the 49ers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. My number 2 team
I don't know
is
why
the
I can't hear him.
I don't know. It's weird. I could try something, but I don't want to. Hold on. What about now?
No, that's all right. Go ahead, Jared.
You can translate for me. My number 2 team is the Patriots, and they've made first appearance in my Power 5. They just become undeniable with their skill and that division. It's just like top heavy in the top 2, Buffalo, and then the Jets and Dolphins are so terrible. So they got some, each division has some of a weak point, but it's kind of a mid division, I guess you would say. But Drake May throws the best long ball. He's so poised and accurate, can move. He's what you want in a quarterback. He's mobile, can make all the throws. And Vrabel, Tennessee made a huge mistake letting him go after like one, not even a bad, like just like one bad season. They let him go. It was so stupid. And it shows that coaching in the NFL, it makes a huge difference. Um, if you get the right coach and with a good president and or owner and GM, then you can start rolling quick with the quarterback. Got all four of those at New England, so I have them at number 2.
Yeah. Jeremy, he went with New England as his number 2. Um, all about the same reasons. I mean, of course, Drake May and all that. But
Sure.
my quick number 1, I mean, you know what it is. Okay, it's the Eagles. It's the Eagles. But let me say something, man. That defense, the last couple weeks, and
Sorry.
I mean, they looked like Dikembe Mutombo blocking freaking shots in the NBA on Monday night. It was fantastic. Jared Goff didn't know what the heck was going on. But I will say that, I mean, it's all about the defense right now. And, that's what wins, football games and championships. But, everyone's saying, oh, man, what's wrong with the offense? And there's problems, okay? But it's time to say what the real problem is, and it's Saquon Barkley. Last year, after 10 games, he had 1,189 yards. He's got 662 this year, okay?
They're not using
the offensive line, that's double. They're missing 560 yards there. Offensive line's been a little banged up. They're starting to come back, but again, Lane Johnson, just like last week, he went out in the first quarter. Cam Jurgens, our center, went out again, but he just doesn't seem. We keep thinking he's going to break a couple of those, but he's not breaking them. And he just seems like, to me, a half step slower than last year. He just hasn't caught those big runs. But that's a big problem. And the other problem is Jalen Hurts not running the football. My God, every time he runs, something good happens, and he's got to run it at least 5 to 8 times a game, or else that offense isn't going to open up. But back to the defense. Wow. What's his name? Jalen Phillips, the pickup from Miami. I mean, he's in on that court. That's all he does is go straight at that quarterback all game long, and that has just made such a difference. They're still my number 1. I'm making a bold statement here at being 8-2 and the number 1 seed in the NFC. But I wish we would get rid of Kevin Patullo, our offensive coordinator, because he's running the same damn plays, and they gotta get a little jolt here. And I don't know what they can do, but he's not doing it right now. And he's Jeremy, you tell me. I mean, can we blame a lot of this on the offensive coordinator?
Well, you can blame it on the offensive coordinator, but you can also give credit to the defensive coordinators for every team they're playing. I mean, it's just like, like a RG3 back in the day where he comes in as a rookie and sets the world on fire. Well, then the next year, they call it sophomore slump, call it whatever. I call it giving the defensive coordinators in the National Football League a year of film to study you all offseason. And I think that's kind of what they've done with Saquon. Now, a little bit of it's a combination of, okay, defensive coordinators got better, got their teams better prepared and ready for Saquon, kind of picked up on some trends after watching film for the offseason for the year. But also, I think they're managing Saquon. I think they've got him on a little bit of a pitch count, and they know, hey, let's just win the game. We ain't got to stop anybody. Let's just win the game. And I think they have the luxury of putting him on a pitch count to where, they don't need him to rush for 200 yards, obviously, for them to win. Now, we may see a little bit more of that in as they come down the stretch. But once they get these playoffs wrapped up, we may not see Saquon at all.
Right.
I think they're saving his body, to be honest with you. So I think it's a combination of both. I think they're choosing not to run him 30-some times a game, whether that's trying to keep everybody happy in the locker room, A.J. Brown or whatever, and try to keep him healthy. And 2, I think, these defensive coordinators in the NFL, they're there for a reason. And they've had a year of film with Saquon in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform. They're doing their job. they're playing defense, they're containing him, but again, they're not having to stop him 30 sometimes a game, and I think Philly is managing that workload. I really do. I really do.
But I wish they would open it up now. I mean, we're going into week 12 next week. You know, it's time to start using him and Jalen more running the football just to open it up. And, you know,
you're 3.5 games up in your division. Why?
I know.
I mean, you're on cruise control right now. Don't hurt him.
I know. And
Don't
that's
hurt
what
him.
it looks like. That is what it looks like. So, all right. Who's next?
My number one team is, did Jeremy do his?
I said my number 2 is Philly. My number 2 is Philly.
Yep.
Again, they're 3.5 games up on Dallas. Favorable schedule. Got 3 division games left. They play in the weakest division, I think, in football. They got the Cowboys, Commanders twice left to play. So there's your 11 wins, in my opinion. And then they got the Raiders throwing in there. So they're looking at 12, 13 wins without really even trying, without giving the ball 30 times to Saquon, in my opinion.
We need your number 1.
My number 1 is the Rams. I just like them. I think they're more balanced. I mean, Philly's defense is smothering, but as their offense, I don't know. I think outside of playing the Eagles head up, I think Seattle had probably the defense that's comparable to the Eagles right now, and they just beat them over the weekend. They kind of outperformed them defensively, is what kind of won that football game from, which was surprising because going into that game, I thought it was going to be an absolute shootout. I thought it was going to be Darnold and Stafford going back and forth, and whoever had the ball last won. Yeah. But to not neglect what I've already said, the Rams, they play in the tougher division, probably the toughest division in the NFC, and with the Seahawks and the 49ers. And, they could easily split with the Seahawks, lose to the Seahawks down the stretch. They still got the Lions on their schedule. And they got the Bucs this weekend, which I think will be a telltale. If they could beat the Bucs handedly, I think that sets them up for the rest of the season.
What do you got, Jared?
I also have the Rams. I think you got the coach, you got the quarterback, you got the experience, and I think of all the teams in the Power 5, they seem to be the most balanced, where you have an offense you can count on, you have a defense you can count on. The Eagles don't have a defense or an offense you can count on yet. The Broncos don't have an offense you can count on every week yet. New England maybe so, but then you think, well, second-year starter, maybe not. He's doing great so far, but you just don't know. And there's some questions with Daniel Jones. But the Rams, I think, on both sides of the ball, you can count on them. And that offense is, you're not like, oh, they're not going to show up this week. They've shown up every single week this year, at least in the latter part of the season. They're just on fire. And if they can continue that with that defense, they're going to be a tough out.
No, it's hard to argue on the Rams for sure. So, all right, let me mention a couple of our sponsors, and then I got a question for you guys, and let's see what we come up with here. Our sponsors, Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry that you can really find a nice, unique piece in Brian's showroom. Go see Brian over at Estate Jewelry at 2511 Battleground Ave, and you can also go online at estatejewelryloan.com. We also run Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in the High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center in New Garden. Tell them we sent you over there. Miguel usually is running the restaurant over there. He's got a food truck, catering, daily specials, and you can find their menu at salsaritas.com. Shank and Torrance Insurance, located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. Call him at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. And then our new one, let's welcome 4 Real 24. That's 4 as in golf, F-O-R-E. Real golf, indoors, anytime. It's like a It's like a gym membership. It's going to be open to members only. It's a golf facility offering iconic golf courses and state-of-the-art equipment. Our dynamic hitting area has a moving floor, ball retrieval, auto tee, multi-surface turf, simulating fairways, deep rough, and even bunkers. Check out 4real24.com, and they're going to be located over off of Battleground and Horsepen Creek Road. Go see Clay Jordan once they open. I think they're opening next week. It just sounds like a lot of fun and a pretty neat little thing that we all can enjoy in Greensboro.
All right, excellent.
All right.
What question you got for us?
I got a question for you guys. If you had to make a bet that the Detroit Lions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm talking all three, are definitely going to make the playoffs at the end of the year, would you place a $1,000 bet on that? Go ahead, Jeremy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If it was just Baltimore and Detroit, I'd take that bet all day long.
Oh, come on.
The Chiefs have dug themselves a hole. They are 3.5 games behind Denver. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And again, like I said previously, they can go on a run. They definitely have the schedule where Patrick Mahomes can go on a run. But this game this weekend is an absolute win for them in order to set them up to go on that run. They got Cowboys, Texans, Chargers. You know, they can absolutely go on that run. They got one more head-up game with the Broncos, but they are 3.5 games behind Denver. They're in third place in their division, you know, and I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Baltimore, I love it. I love it. We got a shaky situation going on with Pittsburgh. Baltimore's at 5-5, but they're only one game behind in their division. So, you know, they can easily catch the Steelers. As a matter of fact, they got 2 games with the Steelers left. So that's a head-to-head matchup. Yeah. And one of them being the last game of the season. Yeah. Which could very well, you know, in dramatic fashion, these TV channels, you know, they can set it up to where that could be the division championship.
Ravens are in. Ravens are going to definitely get in, man. What about you, Jared? You got $1,000?
I can borrow some from Jeremy. He can't even hear me. He still can't hear me? No.
He can't hear you.
He still can't hear me. Okay. No, I say no, but for a different reason. I say no because I don't think the Lions are going to make the playoffs. I just think the NFC is so deep that they're in trouble. I mean, who are they going to catch? Who are they going to pass? Who are they? I mean, they're also a Jekyll and Hyde team. This team looked unbeatable for stretches during the season. Now they look pedestrian. I mean, Jared Goff looked lost against your Eagles, and I know they do that to people, but I mean, he's so experienced. Like I don't think he's ever got his feet set one time the whole game. It's like that is not good. That doesn't bode well. In the NFC, I mean, the 49ers are getting healthy. You got, I mean, who are they going to surpass? I don't see it. So that my reason would be more so. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Lions, which I would not have thought 2 weeks ago.
All right, Jeremy, he won in bet because he thinks Detroit's not going to make it. That's his thing. But he made a couple of nice points, but I got to disagree with. I would put $1,000 down on these teams, and here's the reason. Going what Jared was saying, no, Detroit's going to win that division. Chicago's going to start falling off. Green Bay, we don't know what team that is. The Detroit Lions are the cream of the crop in that division. They're going to end up winning that division. They will be back after losing the other night. The Ravens are just going to go on a roll. I mean, they're going to take that. They're going to win that division. As long as they stay healthy, and they are healthy right now. And like Jeremy was saying, boy, that team is set to make the playoffs. The Chiefs. Now, you're probably surprised that I would bet on the Chiefs making the playoffs, but there's 7 games left. They're going to get to 10, or I think they'll get to 10 wins. And the only reason why I would bet on them is because the referees are going to be on their side, toward the end. They're going to want them in the damn playoffs.
Kind of like the rest were with Philly at the end of the game this past week.
Oh,
We didn't even touch on that.
yeah, we
That
finally
playoff,
got
that,
one, we got one call in the past 3 years. I couldn't believe
you
it.
guys y'all are the new age Chiefs.
But
Y'all are
We're
the
the
that
new
Chiefs
age
of the
Chiefs.
NFC.
Y'all are getting all the calls now.
you
All
know
the
Yeah.
calls.
the Chiefs are going to get the calls. They're going to sneak in the playoffs just barely. Probably the last game of the season, they're going to sneak in, and Johnny O is going to go home with that $1,000 and feeling pretty darn good about it.
You
So,
know, they got Broncos the next to the last game. Then they finished the season with the Raiders. The
they got it.
Broncos are probably going to have the division wrapped up and nothing to play for. So they may very well beat
Yeah.
the Chiefs may very well may beat the Broncos. I hope it's a scenario, and I don't know how it could be, where the Broncos, unless they nosedive these next couple of games, where the Broncos would have to win to get in. That would make it interesting. But I think they're just so far. I think they've got the division wrapped up. So you're saying the Chiefs get in on a wild card?
Wild card.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, and
gonna
that's all
make
it
the
takes.
playoffs.
I mean, get in. But I think Baltimore has the prettiest seat to me
Yeah.
to get in based on their remaining schedule. They do have the Steelers twice. They got the Bengals twice. They got 4 division games left too.
Yeah.
So they got the Bengals twice and the Steelers twice. But they got the Jets, Packers, but they got the Patriots in there too. But I think Baltimore's sitting in the driver's seat in that division for sure.
But yeah, no, I feel good about Detroit winning that other division. Chicago, good for Chicago. They're looking good, but I think Detroit wins that division and they'll be just fine. I hope we don't have to play them again, to be honest with you, because that team's going to be fired up the next few games. But
I just don't know what happened to the Packers, man. Like, if the Packers hadn't turned into the Packers, our current Packers, I'd have said Detroit. And if the standings were like this, I'm like, man, Detroit's got a hard road.
yeah,
But but the Packers, man, their offense is struggling. And then with Jacobs is dinged up now, he didn't finish the game over the weekend. So yeah, Detroit's in the driver's seat there too. I can see that.
couple small tidbits real quick here to end the show. How about that game by Josh Allen, man? That was a football explosion, man. I mean, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 running touchdowns. He completely dominated an NFL football game. And, that just blows my mind when one guy's out there just going crazy, like he's out in the backyard as the biggest kid in the, in the game. But I was happy for him, and it look out for Buffalo, but they are up and down, but who knows what's going to happen. But what'd you think of that? What'd you think of that output?
I thought it was great. Their defense came up big for them. I mean, obviously Josh Allen came up big for them, but I mean, he's their only offense. That's what scares me about them. And yeah, they got Cook and stuff, but I mean, and then they got a little situation going on with their number 1 wide receiver. He was an inactive coach's decision over the weekend. So, I mean, there's some turmoil going on there, but I just don't like them winning as a wild card. There's so much advantage to them playing at home in January.
Yeah.
And, for them to get a wild card, I mean, get into the playoffs by all means, but at the same time, I don't like their odds making a Super Bowl run not playing at home.
Jared, talk to us about your favorite team, the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. What did you think of that ball game?
Yeah, I mean, it's Josh Allen's great. I mean, he shouldn't have been MVP last year, but that's fine. But he's great. I mean, he's a great quarterback. He gives his team a chance. I think if he was on the Eagles would be undefeated. He would be.
So I know, but the Eagles have won 25 of their last 29. I mean, give me a break.
With Josh Allen, it would be 29-0. It would be 29 game. So Josh Allen, I enjoy watching him play, but Jeremy you both made good points. They don't have home field in the playoffs, forget it. But the one game, that's like a Shohei Ohtani game where you're like, what? He had 3 home runs and 3 stolen bases and 6 shutout innings. I mean, it's just like crazy stuff. And so I love seeing stuff like that when an elite player does elite things. So that was fantastic to see.
Great comparison. Jeremy, Jared said he pulled a Shohei Ohtani game in the NFL on Sunday. That was freaking perfect. Well done, Jared, man. Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
A baseball
Every once in a
reference.
while.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm rubbing off on you, man. Real quick, and then we're done. I'm excited. For my man Jack Groff. He runs the Kickback Jacks over here on New Garden Road. He's a huge Virginia Tech fan. I am excited that James Franklin has taken over that program. He will bring Virginia Tech back to where they were at one time. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. We, you and I talked about it last week or maybe the week before when the rumors started. Watched the money pour in there from alumni, and it's ACC. He could take it over. He could take over the ACC.
Yep.
And, that's all it takes. And I'm telling you, Virginia Tech's going to be back. And, let's face it, transfer portal, half of Happy Valley may be moving to Blacksburg. Some of those players, they loved him, and they may come with him.
Yes. Good stuff. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, the ACC, that's the key. It's like, if he went to the SEC or something, I don't know. He'd be like the fifth best coach maybe. But the ACC, he's going to be top tier, and he will bring people from Death Valley. And then when it comes to big games, he'll lose them. But, until we get to those big games, we'll see. He'll have less big games because he's in the ACC.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff. Guys, another outstanding show. Jeremy, we love having you on, man. We have hooked him, Jared. We got him in. This is
we only
fun
have him on so
stuff.
we get some free
it's pretty cool to see the changes.
Yes.
Week to week.
All right.
Yeah.
Till next week, guys. See ya.
All right.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got Jared and Johnny.